Hello, my name is Fabian Cardenas and I am a marketing student at the Lee Business School of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Hello, my name is Shania, and I'm a marketing student at the Lead Business School here at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Hello, my name is Darren Hernandez, and I am also a marketing student at the Lee Business School at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Today we're going to be talking about Generation Z's integration with streaming services. And now I'm going to be passing it to Fabian to talk about our background to our research.
For our background, Generation Z, which includes anybody that was born on the year 1997 and beyond, have always had a strong connection with streaming services. In this research study, our focus will be movie and video streaming services. Although very little is known about this connection on how it can create potential advantages and disadvantages, we set out to examine how it can create possible meaningful experiences for Generation Z, which leads to our research question. We generated a conceptual model to compose our research questions. We hypothesized that there can be a correlation between generations and their level of enjoyment with streaming services, including if their multitasking tendency while streaming affects their lives and the level of enjoyment. This then goes hand in hand with brand connection and their likeliness to use it 7 days a week. Finally, if their streaming service usage can lead to technology overuse, as known as binge watching. So that explains our research question and conceptual model. I will now turn the attention to my colleague Shania.
Before conducting a survey, we decided to do a literature review to see what other researchers are saying about Generation Z and streaming services. After researching other scholarly articles, we decided to examine social media sites ourselves. We looked at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and multiple different other sites to examine how Generation Z communicates with other Generation Zs about the usage of these streaming services. Next, Daniel will be discussing the results we actually found from our surveys.
We were surprised by the results we found from our survey. Referencing to Graph A, we found that 49% of Gen Z pay for their own streaming service. Second to the majority have a family member pay for their streaming service, and less than 10% have a friend pay for their streaming service. We also found that women pay for their own streaming service significantly higher than men. In Graph B, we discovered that the most popular genres were comedies and documentaries, meaning that Generation Z prefers more informative and lighthearted genres. Now continuing to Graph C, we examined age groups outside of Generation Z and asked them how many days a week they watch streaming services. 40% of people between the ages of 25 to 34 said that they watch streaming services 7 days a week. We asked the same question to Generation Z in Graph D, and we found that 51% of them said they watch streaming services 7 days a week. 75% of Generation Z watches streaming services at least 4 days a week. To discuss further the results we collected, 60% of Generation Z chose Netflix to be their #1 pick for streaming services. They also prefer to spend money on shows that interest them the most. Our most shocking discovery was that 71% of Generation Z has 3 or more subscriptions to streaming services. Another interesting result we revealed was that Generation Z does multitask while using streaming services 50% of the time. In our conclusion, we will discuss how this can be an issue. Now Shania will elaborate our conclusion and future action.
The conclusion that my group and I created was that streaming services do create a huge impact on Generation Z, and they actually do create meaningful experiences for these people in this generation. We also found out that Generation Z relies on streaming services at a high frequency. A large amount of these individuals in this generation multitask while watching streaming services, watch shows based on their age and gender, and also are willing to pay for several different streaming services. Overall, we answered our research question, which was, does streaming services create a meaningful impact on Generation Z? Which we can conclude, yes it does. In the future, it is important for streaming services to create new and interesting content for their viewers. A majority of Generation Z does pay for their streaming services, so having new and interesting content makes it worth the money that they're working for and spending on these streaming services. Not only does Generation Z rely on good programming, but also this programming helps them escape reality, especially in hard times that we're going through now. It helps the days pass by faster for them. This concludes our presentation on Generation Z and streaming services. I hope you guys enjoyed and thank you for watching. Stay healthy and stay safe.